welcome to The Subject is Moot, where everything we discuss is debatable. I am Dom, and across from me is...
Mike.
And a special thanks to Vinny and Quiz, the producers of the podcast. We want to hear from you, so write in your opinion, comments, or topics you want us to talk about to thesubjectismoot@yahoo.com, and we will bring them up during future shows. You could also follow us on Twitter at TSIM_podcast, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. In the search bar, just type in The Subject is Moot or Dom Mike, and you'll find us. We are back behind the mics for episode 20.
20, man.
20.
Special.
This is a special. Not as special as 25, so we have a little bit of time.
What are we going to do at 25? Buffet?
What, live in a buffet?
No. Celebrate at a buffet.
Buffet for everyone?
Hey, listen, you want to meet us? Yeah, why not?
Yes, a buffet for all of our listeners.
Every single one.
This episode is brought to you by Sweetwater. Sweetwater has been providing music instruments and pro audio since 1979. They have excellent products, pricing, and customer service. Sweetwater also offers interest-free financing, free shipping to the lower 48 states, and exclusive free 2-year warranty, which comes with nearly every product they offer. They are located in the United States in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Call 800-222-4700 for sales assistance, technical questions, or advice. You could also check out their website at sweetwater.com.
Sweetwater.
Great store. I just bought some more stuff from them. But, Mike, I have to tell you, what I didn't buy from them was the last 2 albums in my collection, which I can't stop listening to. Kiss's new album. No, I'm only joking.
Please.
Sons of Apollo. Psychotic Symphony.
Yeah, it's great.
And Myles Kennedy, Year of the Tiger. Now, what's...
Criminally underrated.
First, let's talk about Sons of Apollo.
What about them?
Tremendous.
Supergroup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's actually, what would you call that? A dream team?
It can be. I mean, when people who know rock, like present rock or even the past 15, 20 years, and you put together a band. I mean, not everybody knew who Bumblefoot was before he got to Guns N' Roses. I mean, obviously being from Staten Island and whatnot, that's a super group, man. I hate to be cliche, but man, oh man.
What? Sons of Apollo?
Yeah.
It definitely is. Tremendous. It's straight in your face vocals.
Well, Jeff Scott Soto's outstanding. Always has been, always was, and will be.
Progressive rock that gives you a treat of a spin-off of Dream Theater and...
Well, it's got a little bit of everything for everyone, I think, because it's...
Liquid Tension. I guess it's got a Dream Theater vibe.
I don't know. There's definitely a little classic rock in there. It's not Dream Theater-ish in its delivery, though. I mean, obviously the longer songs and the interplay are going to have, obviously, the comparisons plus Portnoy's involvement, but...
And Derek.
Yeah, I know, but...
How do you feel about Derek being in there? Because I feel like you didn't...
He's a great musician.
But I feel like you didn't give him his props when he was in...
He didn't fit. It wasn't a fit. That's how I feel about it. And that's it. I have nothing else to say about it because I like Sherning. He's a great musician.
Tremendous.
Great songwriter. His solo albums are fantastic. Anything he's ever done since has been great.
Mm-hmm.
It just was bad timing, and it just wasn't a fit.
No, I think you were just really disappointed about Kevin.
100%.
Then you just couldn't accept anybody. You couldn't accept anybody.
As a kid, devastated.
I don't even know if you would have accepted Jordan Rudess yet.
I don't know if I knew of Rudess when Moore left. I'm not sure. I think what sparked my interest in Rudess was hearing that he was a possible replacement. Then I looked into Rudess possibly.
Well, let's get back to Sons of Apollo. I even like the second album that's instrumental. It just takes.
Oh yeah. I even listened to that because the other one I want the songs are so strong and good, and I've always liked Jeff Scott Soto. He was in a band in the late '90s that I also thought was really, really underrated called Talisman, with another great bass player, Marcel Jacob, rest in peace, and another great guitar player, Fred Atkinson, who's now in Opeth, which is funny because Talisman was just straightforward rock. But yeah, I mean it's a great record all around. I mean, some people may shy away from it because it's song length or think it's prog, but it's more than that.
What I like about it is Billy Sheehan he had a tremendous sound in that, and playing obviously with a 4-string. You get most guys playing with at least 5 or 6 with that kind of in prog. Am I wrong?
No, I agree. But again, I think he's one of those aspects. He's one of the elements in the band that brings it down from just being just prog. Because Sheen's always been more of a rock drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, rock bassist.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
So, plus I'm sure he also had part in molding the songs together too. So,
it's a tremendous. I can't wait for the next one.
I can't wait to see them live in May. I don't have my tickets yet, but I got to get them.
Where are they playing?
Somewhere in the city.
Let me know.
Yep.
Definitely let me know. I would. I don't know if I saw Derek play.
I've seen him.
I know it. We definitely saw. I've definitely seen him.
I saw him at Birchill nightclub with Dream Theater.
No, but the number of times that I've seen Dream Theater, though, I don't think Derek was with them. But I would really like to see Billy. That's really the main reason why I would go.
I saw Sheen with Mr. Big at the Ritz. 2 places that are now closed. Birchill and the Ritz.
Myles Kennedy, Year of the Tiger. Another tremendous album. I spent the last almost 2 weeks listening to both of these albums. And it's just, I go from one to the other.
It blows my mind that this guy isn't like, I mean, I'm sure people who like rock consider him the next great vocalist of our time. And even going back to what we spoke about in a prior podcast about what's going to be our classic, what's going to be considered classic in 15 or 20 years. I think anything this guy lends his voice to should be. And it could be. It could be. Because people may wake up eventually and realize the stuff that he does with Slash is unbelievably outstanding. Alter Bridge, which is my preference, is also very, very good. Great songs. I love Tremonti's playing. It has an edge, a different edge than Slash's songwriting has. But the last
it's heavier. It's heavier and less bluesy.
Yeah, but the last 2 Slash albums with the Myles Kennedy and Conspirators, I believe it's called, the 2 albums he did with them were fantastic. Really undersung. Really great records. Any GNR fan should have been all over them, and maybe they are. I'm not sure, but he should be, in my opinion, like what everybody's taught. That he should appeal to anyone who likes rock. Anyone.
I am surprised he's not bigger than he is, considering the fact that with what he's done with Slash, right? What he's done with Alter Bridge, and now his solo album. You're talking about 5, 6, 7, 8. You're talking about 8 albums, about 8, maybe even more. There could be 9, 10 albums. I'm not too sure his full catalog as a singer in all the bands that he was in professionally.
And I think he's done stuff before them.
He has. And I just don't remember. I just don't know how many. I know him with Slash, Alter Bridge, and now with this solo project. And I can't believe with the vocals that this guy possesses that he is not a household name yet.
Not just vocals.
He's a player. He's a player.
He's a fantastic songwriter. Mm-hmm. He's a great guitar player. And if you ever see him live, he pulls it off live. There's no loss at all. The guy goes out there and sings his butt off.
And that's where when we talk about all the time. It almost seems like almost every other episode we tie into where music is going today, and that's the shame of it, because people don't talk, or they don't. I don't want to use the word idolize, but they don't really look up to anybody anymore.
No.
And when you have a gem, I use the word gem. When you have a singer like Myles Kennedy, a gift, it's a shame that he is not considered at the same level that a Chris Cornell is. Now, I don't want to compare the two.
Yeah, be careful.
Let's not get into that, but I posted the question on Facebook about who is a fan of Myles Kennedy. You better be enjoying every ounce of his vocals on his solo album, Year of the Tiger. And we had a couple of comments. And I just want to read, actually, a couple of these comments.
He's probably bigger than we think he is, but from where we came from, how music was viewed and promoted and pushed as we were growing up, it's definitely very different. To me, if he had come out in the 90s, he probably would have been extremely big.
Well, that's because people appreciated music differently too.
Right.
So John Siri on Facebook wrote, just heard him do a live set on Octane on Sirius XM. I wouldn't get out of my car for like 20 minutes after I parked. That's what he wrote. He was just blown away by Myles Kennedy. And we have Teddy Lewis. Teddy Lewis is a DJ at the Hawk, 105.7.
Nice, yeah.
Down at the Jersey Shore. He writes to the post that I put up there recently, he'll eventually be in the convo of great all-time vocalists. Power with range and tone.
I agree. 100%.
Absolutely, 100%. So, I mean, then I wrote back, finally someone understands what I've been saying for a while. And like you said, there must
DJs know.
That's
who definitely knows. DJs, they know the score with him. He's the deal, and he's been for a while. Anybody, listen, I never liked Creed, ever.
It's funny. I feel like I'm an advocate for Myles Kennedy. I feel like I feel like a born again where I'm just constantly pushing Myles Kennedy. And when I try to describe Alter Bridge and Myles Kennedy, and I say that, Alter Bridge, it's, 3/4 Creed. And as soon as I say Creed, people say to me, I don't like Creed. And I'm like, oh, and I kind of just shot myself in the foot.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't do Myles Kennedy or even Alter Bridge justice by saying that. But when you look at the sound that they were to where they are now, well, it's night and day. It's night and day.
I wouldn't say night and day, but they went from a muddier, that 90s. They were just coming out of the post-grunge era, still trying to hold on to that, but be a little bit different. But Tremonti, you talking about Born Again, Tremonti just came out of Creed and said,
reinvented
I'm not
himself.
stopping. And to me, it was a gigantic improvement because, and you know what? I didn't, even though they were part of Creed, I knew about Tremonti. I read about him in guitar magazines and stuff. So I said to myself, let me see what he has to offer outside of Creed. And when that first Alter Bridge record came out, I was hooked. And it wasn't even, not only was I hooked on his playing, it was
Everything.
Kennedy too.
Of course.
It was Myles Kennedy also.
Well, I think, again, when you hear the band, the first thing you really hear is obviously the guitars and the vocals. The vocals really would have hooked me. And me and vocals. I mean, like I said, I don't listen to lyrics, but vocals, vocals, they have to be good. I can listen to death metal, but take away the vocals and I'll listen to it. But
I'll have a band for you.
He's really, I think he hooked me. And then after I got to like him and listen to the band more and more, and I actually got to know the music, that's when I spun off into more of Tremonti's solo work.
If music was as it were back in the 80s, 90s, I think you would have had the new guitar vocalist tandem that we knew of, that we've seen before. Now no one cares about that. How important it was to have a Page and Plant, or to have an Eddie and a Roth, and so on and so forth. But if music was still looked at as it were back in those days, I think people would be talking about Tremonti and Kennedy. I think what's happened is I think some people don't take him as serious as well because he bounces around too. He's in with Slash. He's in with Tremonti. He does his own stuff, which is great because it spreads him out. And anyone's a fan can't get enough of him. Mm-hmm. But I think when you're with one band and then I know it sounds crazy, but I'm trying to figure out why this guy's not bigger than I think he should be. But it also has to do with music. The current state of music as well. Well,
why him as well as Alter Bridge they're not as big as they should be. I think how they were, like you said before, they would have been bigger in the 90s.
Right. There's a few bands out there that I think should be bigger. Even bands that I'm not a huge fan of that I think they have such a great sound and an overall great presentation with vocals and the music and the songs. But it's just the way the industry's going today.
Who are they?
Shinedown's another band I think is excellent. I'm not a huge fan of Shinedown, but I think they are
they're popular.
A band. They are, but I'm saying they're another band that I think should and could appeal to anyone, no matter what you like. You don't have to necessarily just like whatever they're putting out. If you like heavy stuff or lighter stuff, they really have that mass appeal to them. Where if music was in a different state, they probably could be bigger. There's There's a handful of those type of bands out there.
I guess time will tell, really, what where they go, where Myles goes from here. I kind of maybe Myles Kennedy is almost like a Dream Theater, where they have that underground group of people who that are fans, right?
I think he's bigger than that.
No. But what I'm saying is, he is. But what I'm saying is, Dream Theater had that underground group of fans that, over time, still maintain that underground group of fans, and then some. But everybody knew who they were. Not everybody liked them.
Recently, there was a guitar player named Misha Mansour. He's from a metal band called Periphery, who in this day and age is one of the bigger metal bands out there, have a really decent following. A lot of rock and metal fans know who they are. And he did an interview recently and mentioned how they can't live off of what they make.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very surprised, because I felt like within their genre, they're one of the giants at this time. And to hear that is somewhat depressing, that he has to find other ways to make a living, because they tour all over the world.
Didn't that guy from Symphony X work at Guitar Center also?
Well, yeah, but Symphony X was always going to be under. Obviously Symphony X has their following,
yeah,
a good following, but probably more outside of America. Periphery's big everywhere. They have a decent following here. I mean, obviously they're not going to sell the Garden out,
right?
Because then they would be able to live off their music. But it just shows you where the current state is. Even a bigger band, who you think is bigger, you make it up in your mind that they're definitely doing well when you hear. And I think that surprised a lot of people.
Chris Cornell versus Myles Kennedy.
What about it?
What do you like better?
That's tough. I mean, I wasn't an enormous Soundgarden fan, but I liked a lot of their stuff that they did, especially their, from Bad Motorfinger on, probably. But
it's tough. It's tough. You know why it's tough? It's tough because
also different. I think they're definitely different
vocalists. Just say vocalist. Just in general, straightforward vocalist.
I don't know. I can't really pick one yet.
Well, I think Myles Kennedy has enough under his belt to be able to select. I would pick Myles Kennedy, and I don't say that with any disrespect to Chris Cornell and his place in rock history, and especially that he's no longer with us. But Chris Cornell is one of the greatest vocalists, I think, in music history.
Yeah, definitely.
Rock wise,
100%.
But what I'm saying that I probably don't appreciate enough of. I just never got into it, and I was a Soundgarden and Audio Slave guy. But
you should listen to his last solo album. You'll love it. If you like his voice, you should definitely listen to his last solo album.
I do like his voice, but sometimes
maybe it's the Soundgarden sound.
It's not the sound. No, I think it's really the vocals. That sometimes it's. I get not turned off by it, but I just don't. I'm not fully attracted to. I'm just not fully attracted to. Whereas Myles Kennedy, I like more of. So my pick would be Myles Kennedy over Chris Cornell. I'm not Chris Cornell. I'm not saying that he's better.
No.
He's got a bigger place in history. What I'm saying is I like his vocals.
It's
better.
Preference. Well, think about how much you like DC Cooper, and how many people out there have no clue who he is.
And people who do know him or listen to him or know who he is, they don't hold him as the high regard that I have. I mean, he's my number one vocalist. Him and Jeff Tate.
Right.
So. You're right. You're right about that.
I think for me, I've listened. Yes, Kennedy does have a lot. His repertoire is large, but I've probably put more time into listening to Soundgarden and Cornell than I have to Kennedy so far. That's why it's hard for me to say who I like better yet, because I'm really enjoying Kennedy as of late in the past few years. Because again, the stuff he's done with Slash really surprised me how good it was, and obviously Alter Bridge I've liked since their first record. Actually, not to get off the subject, but even Tremonti's stuff, his solo stuff is outstanding.
It really is
just as good.
It's so underrated. It's so underrated.
Well, he's a great songwriter.
Getting back to the sound, I think you're right. And when it comes to Alter Bridge, Tremonti, it's straight in your face hard rock.
Yep.
hard, heavy metal, rock.
Well, that's why it could appeal to everybody.
But that's probably why I like it more than the Soundgarden, Audio Slave. Although I love both music, both bands, Soundgarden, Audio Slave. It's just I'm a
Audio Slave was more straightforward. Kim Thayil was an underrated guitar player in Soundgarden. He wrote a lot of really off the wall stuff. I mean, he was really original. He's not known as like in the same vein as like some of the soloists and shredders and blues guys and stuff like that. As far as songwriter goes, it's almost like the guitar player from Stone Temple Pilots too. They really wrote out of the box type of riffs and the way they tuned, and they really were revolutionary in how they played and how they wrote. So that also helped too. Like where Tremonti is just plug it in and just go for it and write great driving hard rock songs. Mm-hmm. There was more into like Soundgarden stuff than just that. I mean, I'm sure there were songs that he just plugged in and played, but it's a little different.
Well,
definitely different.
Let's see where it goes from here. Obviously, Myles Kennedy is not stopping anytime soon, and nor do I want him to. It's a gift listening to what he has to put out there, as well as Tremonti, Alter Bridge.
Well, I think it's great that you're so affected by it, because you're a tough sell as far as getting into newer stuff. So. It's good that Kennedy really tickles your eardrums. Tweets. So for this episode, you're going to forego a artist of the podcast, huh, Dom?
Yeah, I'll leave it up to you.
All right, man. I always have one in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And my front pockets.
You have them in all the pockets.
Right,
you have like a holster of artists of the podcast.
I could, yes. Yeah. All right, for this one, I'm going to go out on my own and talk about a band called Marbin. M as in Michael, Arbin, from Chicago, Illinois. They classify themselves as a progressive jazz rock band, and that is a true statement. They're instrumental. Big surprise again. They have 6 releases under their belt since 2009, and they're supposedly a tremendous, tremendous live band, which I hope one day to get to see. The 4 current members. Danny Rabin, he's a guitar player. Danny Markovich on sax. Blake Jaracek, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, on drums. And John Nabel on bass. Great, great, great stuff. Driving like jazzy prog rock. Almost jam band a little bit here and there. They really go to town. You got to hear these guys. You can check them out on Bandcamp. They also have marbinmusic.com. They're on Facebook. Their newest record actually just came out this month called Israeli Jazz, believe it or not. That's the name of the record. And I don't think you'll be, if you into any of those styles, you will definitely not be disappointed. The guitar player is fantastic and mixes well with the sax. And we talk about a rhythm section. The way they mix the record too, and you really hear the bass stand out. It's in one enjoyable package of greatness. Check it out, definitely. You too, Dom. I know you won't.
Pretty funny. All right, well, it's time to wrap this one up. We want to hear from you, so write in your opinion, comments, or topics you want us to talk about to thesubjectismoot@yahoo.com, and we will bring them up during future shows. You could follow us on Twitter at TSIM_podcast, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. In the search bar, just type in The Subject Is Moot or Dom Mike, and you'll find us. For now, I am Dom, and across from me is
Mike, and we are out.